Hey up everybody, my name is Joshua Morrison. Here today to talk to you a bit about London and the community that surrounds London, because there are an awful lot of really interesting things that can happen if you sort of allow yourself to go with the flow and to just see what's underneath the surface. Because if you come to London, you can walk away with the sense that London is this sort of place devoid of community, that no one gets on, that everyone just sticks their headphones in and looks down at their phone. And there is that element, certainly. Like, if you go out your comfort zone and you just refuse to talk to anybody, you can find that. But it's the case that you get in as much, you get out as much as you put in, essentially. So I today wanted to talk to you about some experiences that I've had forming relationships, temporary or permanent, within London in general, to sort of dispel this myth that London is this anti-social place where no one gets on. So first off, and this was just a couple of days ago actually, I was on the train coming back from central London, the day where I filmed my first video about London. I was coming back from the train and I had this camera, which for reference is a big burly camera on a big Manfrotto tripod, so it's quite large, and when you carry it, it would be about the size of my body and my head now. If it was next to me, it would be about that comparable size, probably a little bit larger actually. Fairly heavy, not too heavy because I'm used to it, but anyway, so I'm taking it down onto the train, and I kind of got bored going down the escalator, so I thought I'll just take the lens cap off and I'll just hold it and I'll just see if I get any shots. These are the shots I got. Don't think I'm going to use them for anything, but you know, got them, why not? Got on the train and I put the camera down and I kind of go, oh. And there's a woman in front of me, probably about 45, and she says, "Oh, no pictures." And I'm like, no worries, I'm done for today. I've been doing this since like for hours. So she goes, "Oh, fair enough. It's an interesting looking camera, that." And she starts talking about how she was just at an event where they had loads of photographers, all with Canon cameras. So she'd been being photographed all day, and she kind of, like, she saw the camera, she was like, "Oh no, I can't get away." And yeah, just kind of talked to her about what I do in terms of making this film, this Johnny Mozer's Lessons in Confidence, this feature film that I'm working on, and how I go out and meet people and try and get people on board and that kind of thing. And she was nodding along, going, "Oh yeah, that's really nice. Cool." And she said, get some rest, you know, you've earned it." I think she said something like that. And then I put my headphones in. I've got these little earpod things, like the wireless Bluetooth ones. And I listened to some, I think I listened to some Dead Prez. And I just let the album play for the rest of the trip home. I was going to test out a polarizer filter that I'd recently bought, but I didn't in the end, because I didn't really want to take the camera out with her, like, having been to this event. We end up getting off at the same station, and we just have a bit of a chat. Turns out that she runs a music event that's in this local area. I was like, "Oh wow, that means I've seen you before. I've seen you like giving a speech or something." It's like, "Oh wow, yeah, you've come before." It's like, really nice. You should come down to the next one. The next one's in a couple of weeks. I'm like, yeah, I'd love to. So from meeting her, develop that little connection. So if I see her again, it'll be easier to form that relationship. Really nice person. Talk to her about her family and stuff like that, which is, you know, I can't talk about that because it's personal. Not even to me, but to her. And that was just one example. That was a very recent example of finding the community just through life. My favourite example that I like to give is I was coming back from the shop. I bought some beers and stuff for a party I was going to have, and I ended up passing the local church, and there's like this like car boot sale sort of thing, like a fair, you know, inside the church, where people are just selling bits of tat and stuff like that, old plates and things. So I thought, oh, I'll go in there, have a look. It's open, why not? So I came in with my shopping. I had a couple frozen pizzas in there, which I was quite aware of. So I knew I couldn't stay too long. I ended up chatting to this guy, probably about 60, and he's talking to me about the Southall Socialists and how I should join the cause and join the movement. And I was like, Pardon me. Yeah, that sounds interesting. I was kind of just like, I wasn't politically active at the time, but I thought, why not? I'll give it a go, see what's going on, and see if I can be part of something bigger than myself. So gave him my number, and he said, yeah, I'll be round to pick you up like in a couple of days, and we'll have our first meeting. I was like, okay. Kind of forgot about it. Went home, had the party. It was sort of a thing where I talked to people about it, and they went, the what? The Southall Socialists, yeah? I was like, yeah, the Southall Socialists. It's going to be, kind of taking the mick out of it and not expecting much. Ends up coming along a couple of days later in his car, picks me up, and he drives me to Southall. And what we're doing, we're going around from like one person's house to the next, and he goes up to people's doors, and he'd be like, excuse me, we're part of the Southall Socialist movement, and we're trying to work to gain worker solidarity and trying to make sure that workers can begin to own the means of production and blah blah blah, right? Is Mohammed in? And the woman would be like, no, Mohammed is doing homework. And he'd be like, okay, well tell him that we're going to be around at some point soon, and he should really join these meetings because they're really important, blah blah blah. She's like, okay, I will tell him. And shuts the door, and he comes back and he's like, ticks Mohammed off the list. And then we go to the next place. We're in the middle of Southall High Street, and he starts trying to do a U-turn. He just does a U-turn in the middle of the street, Pat Street. If you know Southall, it's a place that is quite chocker in terms of the roads, especially at rush hour, and we were doing this at rush hour. He starts doing a U-turn, and if you've been to Southall, you can imagine that doesn't work, right? I am in the front seat like this. Don't notice me. Please don't notice me. No one noticed me. And we end up going to another guy's house, and the same thing. The mother answers the door. It's like, is Ahmed in? It's like, blah, 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 so worker solidarity, and the worker should be owning the means of production, all that, right? And the mother goes, no. Ahmed is streaming Minecraft. He's streaming Minecraft. And this guy goes, oh, okay, well, just tell him to, for the next Southall Socialists movement meeting that we should definitely have him on board, because we'd love to have him on board because we're all about worker solidarity and all that sort of stuff. Which is like, yes, I will tell him. So there was one that we went to the door, and he says, hello, my name is whatever from the Southall Socialist movement, and we'd love to have your son Wajid down for the current meeting, because we're all about worker solidarity and trying to promote the cause of the workers owning the means of production and all that kind of thing, and overthrowing imperialism and that kind of stuff, right? And she just says, no. You know the Family Guy thing of the cleaner, the Mexican cleaner, she just goes, no. It was like that. She just goes, no. And he goes, okay. And he comes back, and he's like, that's putting me off the sirens there. Comes back, we end up meeting another guy who's also part of the Southall Socialists. He gets in the car, and we drive to Southall Park. And me and this guy, and me and the other two guys are sat in the gazebo just having a chat. And the guy that I've been driving around with this entire time, he eyes this like gang of utes on the other side of the park, burly looking, like hench roadmen types you wouldn't want to fuck with, right? He goes, oh, they'll be perfect to get to join our socialist cause. And so he hobbles over and he starts talking to them about the Southall Socialists. And me and this other guy at this point, we're like, we're not associated with him. We're not. Nope. This guy had rented out a church for us to have our meeting in. We didn't end up using it in the end because we didn't have enough people to actually make it worth it. So we went to McDonald's, and I let him buy me a Big Mac because I thought, well, that's the socialist thing to do. It's about equality of outcome, isn't it? So I let him buy me a Big Mac. We had a bit of a talk. He gave me a newspaper that normally costs £3, and I was like, oh, thank you very much. We had a chat, and I am sympathetic to the socialist cause. I'm not a socialist myself, and doing that whole experience certainly turned me off socialism a little bit. But it was a fun day. It was a fun time, and it was a fun story to tell people. And it's another bit of proof that if you allow yourself to go with the flow, you can end up in weird situations that you can end up, referring back to, and something that can give your life a bit more, gravitas and a bit more fun and a bit more, slickness to it. Not that I'm saying I've got a gravitatious fucking life or anything like that, but not like I go out and do stuff all the time. But I do like getting into weird little situations like that. And he ended up driving me home, and I ended up becoming another one of those people where the mother answers the door and goes, "No, sorry, Josh is editing a video. He can't come down right now and play." Oh, one of the mothers did say, "Oh no, Ahmed can't come down to play. Can't come down to play." I loved it. That was hilarious. And it's not just that you've got these a negative experience like that, which I wouldn't consider a negative experience. I consider it a positive experience, even though in the moment there was some parts where I was a bit like, oh my God. It was fun. It was fun for me to be able to refer back to that. Next up, I'd like to talk about the open mic communities, of which there are many across West London in particular, which are the ones that I'm most familiar with. I'm sure there are some in East, North, South and Central London as well. However, I'm not particularly accustomed to them, so I don't know them super well. I've been out with friends a bit, and I do know a place called the Rhythm and Booze in Battersea, which is a place where there's a local jam session. People that have gone there have talked about how they constantly go into these various jam nights and open mics and stuff like that. So they happen all over the place. And there's also ones that aren't even in a venue, they're like on the street. And so people come from all across the city and just like jam out together on like one song that's in B minor or like D major or whatever, right? Couple basic chords, something that anyone can jump in on and have a bit of fun with, and get a Zerner solo or whatever, right? Or maybe one guy starts scatting and rapping over it, stuff like that. So you can have some fun. I was going to an open mic, got talking to a load of people there. They ended up introducing me to some other people, and after all those people ended up introducing me, and I became sort of accustomed to all the people in like my local one, my local open mic, I started moving on to the next one, becoming a bit more accustomed to people there and learning their names and learning what they're all about, what kind of music they like, what kind of things they do. And that's where I learned that there's still goths and people that are super into rockabilly, and people that are super into glam and like David Bowie and The Cure, and there's people that are super like, wearing like the 90s like grunge sort of aesthetic, and there's people that are super into like that pop punk kind of Blink-182 look of like the eyeliner and the colourful shirts and stuff like that. You got people that are kind of still mods and rockers, and those are still a little bit alive, but they're not disconnected the way that they would have been in the 70s. Now these groups all come together and are friendly with one another and all socialise, and I think that's just absolutely beautiful, that you've got that connection between people and that people can just get on. And that was kind of the message that I wanted to get across with this video. Not that I maybe did it with the Southall Socialist story, but just that there is community in London and you can find it. And it's not like you've got to spend your entire life dedicated to trying to find it. It can fairly easily come to you if you just allow it to. If you let yourself get into these weird situations, and I understand if, for instance, you're suffering from depression or anxiety and you're in a really rough time in your life right now, and you fail to see the colour in the world and you just see grey. Like I was like that last year, and I isolated myself and I didn't allow myself to be part of the community that was around me, when it was the community around me that helped me heal from those bad times and become the person that I am today, where I'm happy in my own skin, and I love myself and I love my world and I love the people that are close to me and are my friends and are my greater family, and you can have that as well, and I'm sure you already have that to an extent, or maybe to a bigger extent than myself, depending on who you are, your circumstances, that kind of thing. I know people that I'm not particularly like a people person. I can't just go up to someone and start a conversation, but you become friends with someone who is like that, and then you're suddenly with them and you're finding all sorts of people, and those kind of people will kind of just take you under their wing essentially, and you kind of go with the flow of them. And then you build your own confidence up to be able to do it yourself. And then you go out there and you get talking to people, you make contacts, you hand your phone number out, your Instagram out, and you get talking to people afterwards. Don't just give someone your Instagram and then just follow each other and then never message or anything like that. Message them. Doesn't even matter if it was ages ago that you became friends, just message them if you've got no one to message. It might turn out to be your best friend, or it might become like your future wife or husband. And that's the beauty of the internet now, is that you can quite easily retain these real life friendships, and it's just a case of doing it. You have to actively go out there and do it, and no one's going to force you to, but no one's also going to like make it easier for you either, because it's not the easiest thing in the world. And I know some people aren't as like willing to go up to others as say I am, but it's something that you should learn to do and try to do. And even if you just go with the flow of things, join a social club, join a networking event, and go to a networking event and just in your like field and just have fun chatting to people and do stuff like that. And get out of your comfort zone and try things, and you will find happiness in your community, and you will quite realize your community and realize just how important your surroundings are to building the you that is the most that you can be, the most you that you are. Because you aren't just yourself, you are your world. Like, for instance, the kind of Eastern philosophy is apparently more, it's about the whole, and you're part of the whole. And in the West, we kind of see that as a bit of a bad thing. I've sort of turned this into a massive tangent, I know. But you kind of see that as a bit of a bad thing. It's all about individualism. And yes, you should be an individual with your own style and something that is, feels true to you, and be you. But at the same time, embrace your community and embrace the people around you, because that's what we should be doing more of. And I think we are doing a fair amount. But like in the video that I've also released, it's kind of becoming a problem that it's going to slowly, with the advent of the internet and the slow creeping fascism that's coming into our world through the veering to the right of many of our most powerful countries like the United States, the UK, Germany and Poland, and places like this, Russia, which is very outright fascist at this current moment, and then places like the US and the UK, which are like, kind of looking up to that as an ideal, even if they're not there yet. So you have got problems, and I'm not saying that this is something that's always going to be there, that this community feeling will always be there, but it's there now, and you can go out and find it. And I really urge you to go out and find it. And I'd love for you to tell me some stories that you've got from weird people that you've met, interesting folk that you've come across, like for instance, positive or negative, just fun stories that are something that are part of you, that are part of the tale of yourself that's taken you to this present moment. And I'm interested in hearing about that. I'm interested in hearing other people's stories, and I want to listen and know what's going on out there and how other people feel about this topic, because I'd like this to be a dialogue, a discussion, and for me I'm trying to form a community here as well, not just so that I've got my own real life community, but I'd like to have a community that is online as well. I like some bands and I go on their subreddits every now and then. I like King Gizzard and I go on the King Gizzard subreddit, but if you go on that too much, you realise that people are pain in the arse on those sort of subreddits, and they're just moaning and making dramas out of things. And this is a different kind of community where people can just come together, talk about whatever in the comment section. I don't care, it doesn't have to be relevant to the video, just comment some stuff, whatever makes you feel good, and have fun doing it. And if you're watching this about 6 in the evening on a Saturday night, get the fuck out of the house, go to your local pub, even if you just sit there and like look around and don't bring up the courage to go up to someone. You've at least put yourself in the position where you had the choice to go up to someone, and the next time you do this, you'll be more confident. And maybe you won't do it that time, but maybe the time afterwards. And you keep doing things until something happens, until the light bulb turns on, until the rope is cut, until you know, you've made the plunge into a new world that you've crafted for yourself. And I hope you do that. And I hope that you take something from this video that's positive and that it's made you feel something. And love you all. I'm going to take my leave. I'm going to head back and I'm going to put this video together. And then I'm going to go to the Cross Lancers where I'm going to play a gig for Johnny Moz's Lessons in Confidence. I'm trying to learn how to do this. Is it like that or is it like that? I don't think it matters because Johnny Mozer isn't the type of person that would be aware of that kind of thing. So anyway, I'm going to head off. Bit of a ramble at the end, but thank you so much for watching this and have a great day. Ooh, ow! That's higher than it looks. I had my first kiss here. I was probably sat here actually, but this has grown since. So this place has sentimental value as well. Like this area. I wasn't sat like this. I'm just standing here because it's easier. It was just a nice time. Just thought I'd add it. You know. That's another example of community-ish. All right. See ya. Oh wait, actually, it was over there. I had my first kiss there. Catch you round. Right, that was fun.